Well, we're going to try this again. I'll wait. Let's see who's here. We'll give some people a chance to get in here. See if I can work this thing. Live chat. Ooh. Let's play with filters. Who's that? You know what? I'm gonna need to turn this on so I can see who's in here, because my eyesight's bad, and I can't actually see up here. So I'm going to go into the live chat this way. That way I can see what you guys are saying, because otherwise I can't. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Well. Oh, no. Well, I don't know where this is. Hey, everybody. Everybody say hi. That's so I can know who's in here. I'm trying to know who's in here. Ha, 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 ha. Like, how do I get to this? I have to go to our channel. That's cute. All right. Here we go. I found me. Hey, Merry World. Starseed, hey. Let me tell you how I'm feeling. You guys are going to love this. Hey, Kayla. Dog just came in. I'm going to set this phone up this way so I can see you guys with these rings around my eyes. It's awesome. So I am in the process. You guys are going to love this. I still have that much to go. That much. So I'm pouring it in here, and I'm drinking it as much as I can. Hi, Tara. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I am preparing for a colonoscopy. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Veronica. So I'm preparing for a colonoscopy in the morning. Actually, I'm preparing for an upper endoscopy and a colonoscopy at the same time. So, do they meet in the middle? You know, I don't know. Anyway, there it is. So that's what I'm doing. And if I happen to have to run off super fast, you know why? But certainly it's not going to kick in that quick, right? I mean, I've been doing this for a day. So yesterday I was on liquids. So I had some like gravy type of thing. And then I had some pudding. I had a pudding pop, sugar-free stuff. And I had Jell-O and I had yogurt. Today is clear liquids only. So I've had Sprite. I've had this stuff. Yeah, you heard what I was going to say. I've had Jell-O. And for dinner tonight, which I haven't had yet, I'm going to have chicken broth. I'm so excited. Chicken broth and Jell-O. That's what I'm doing. So I am going to refill my cup and we're going to get going here. So get your questions ready and let's talk. There was way more of you here last time than I even anticipated. I'm like, there's going to be like 4 or 5 people and we're just going to, man, you guys got me with some questions last week. I was like, wow. It's easy when Lee's not around. Because I can say things that I normally wouldn't say if he was here. You know what I mean? Some of the little secrets he don't need to know, right? Like, you know, we'll get into that. That's fine. Yeah, happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Oh, Teresa. Happy birthday. My goodness, you're spending your birthday here at Ask Sherry? Why would you do such a thing? It's great. It's really, really good. You guys should try it. Yeah, so happy birthday. Hi, Sin. Hi, Tara. Hi, Rosie. Starseed, Rex. And that, what does that say? Glamosaurus Rex. I love that. You're in the gym. Yeah, so happy birthday. And hello, Mary and Kiki. So, hey, let's, for those of you who just came in who don't know, I'm preparing for a colonoscopy in the morning. So excited. So let's get started. What are we going to talk about and what kind of questions do you guys have? Let's do this. We've got a room full of people. I'm wondering if we'll ever get a male in here. I'm wondering if we ever will. Be interesting. Hi, Sin. Hi, Cynthia. Yeah, this stuff's great. So, yeah, let's talk. Yeah, thank you. And it's an upper endoscopy and a colonoscopy all at the same time. So I get to take a little nap, and then I get to come home, relax for a little bit, and then I got a super cool podcast interview I'm going to do with a band that I love with. I've got a band series. I've been recording some band interviews and things. So, hey, from Sydney. Goodness. No, not Sydney, Sunny. My eyesight's bad. Hey, Mama. Oh yeah, it's no joke. And I've got to midnight to finish this off. You know what I mean? It's pretty much still a lot. So, they use the same camera. Yeah. They better use them both at the same time. You know? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in Facebook jail for a month. For a whole month. 30 days. Like 27 now. But I'm forever in Facebook jail. I'm always in trouble on Facebook. And this time it was for threatening to kill Lee. And it wasn't even like that. So a friend of mine was delivering flowers on Valentine's Day. And she's local. And she said, I'm out delivering flowers today. And my reply to her was, you better not show up at my house. I would kill Lee for spending $89.99 on a set or on a bouquet of flowers that he could spend $19.99 on the next day. 30-day ban. Out. Gone. And then I got in trouble for nudity. I put my 6-year-old grandson's picture. He just got out of the swimming pool, and we were sitting at the table having cupcakes, and they got me for nudity. He's 6, but I get it. So, what do we got here? Oh, you are from Sydney. Well, good. I'm glad that you are doing solo videos. Lee's explanation of things are really confusing sometimes. Yes, they are. And that's why I'm here. To help you guys understand sometimes what the heck he's saying. And then sometimes give a completely different perspective on it because, you know, Lee's isn't the only perspective. And so much of the stuff that we went through as a couple that we experienced and we got through and we navigated, that we can help other people navigate through those things. So it's you know, it's easier for me to come from a perspective of been there, you know what I mean, and how I handled it and how I got through it. And we all know that Lee's past is it was jaded. I mean, it was jaded's not a good word. It was busy. That's what it was. He was busy. And oh, Mama T, goodness. Okay. Oh man. Okay. I'm all tangled up here. But yeah, so it was hard, guys. I mean, I'm telling you, it was not an easy thing to navigate. And many times I thought, I don't know what, because we didn't even know what this connection was. And there were so many times that I was like, you know what, screw it. I can't fathom somebody being this not nice of a person to so many people. And what would I want with somebody who I have to constantly look over my shoulder, right? And be like, what are you doing? And checking phones, and who wants to live that type of life? I wasn't going to do that. Um, he had to jump through hoops, really, because I was very not trusting, and for very good reason, right? I didn't have a reason to not be distrusting. Did that make sense? Yeah, I had a reason to not trust him, and we were actually talking about that earlier. And I had said, I just didn't have a reason to trust you because everything you said it wasn't real. It wasn't true. It was false. I'm gonna get this off. How did you know you could trust him? What did that feel like? I went about it in a couple of different ways, and some of it was healthy and some of it wasn't. But I needed what I needed to be able to understand what it is. My thought process really honestly wasn't, he's a dick, he's a womanizer, and I don't want to be with him. That's not really what my attitude was. My attitude was really like, what has this guy been through in his life that he's hurting himself and others, and I'm not going to be caught up in that. So if nothing else, I can at least find out what's going on with this man and help him. Not that I was anybody to be able to help anybody, right? But I'm struggling, y'all, to get this off because it's all. But I just wanted to be able to trust him wholeheartedly, and I knew at that point that I was never going to be able to. And I could feel when he was lying. Also, the voices, you know what I mean? He was lying. The spirit talks to me, and they told me, if he wasn't being truthful. And that was interesting. But I'll tell you how I finally figured out how I could. There we go. And Lee was coming to me often and saying the right things. And what is the right thing, right? What is the right thing? I want to be with you. I don't want to be with anybody else. Yeah, all that great stuff. But it was a feeling. It wasn't when he said something, I would feel it, not think about what he was saying, not let it filter through the devil here. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let it filter through that. I want it to filter through God here, and I want to know what he's saying is real. He told me that he didn't want to be with anybody else. Okay, great. And then one day he called me up and he said, I told the girl I'm living with that I was in love with somebody named Sherry and that I was going to be with her for the rest of my life. And she's moving out tomorrow. What? I didn't ask him to do that. And then we would talk a lot. And he would lie to me and say, oh, I'm going to bed. And I knew he wasn't because I felt him with another person. I felt him. And that would set me back. And then we would start from scratch. And then there was a point where he had slept with his ex-wife. And, well, it was his wife at the time, honestly. It wasn't his ex-wife, it was his wife at the time. But I know you guys have seen some of the videos, and there were times when he was at work, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, I don't believe you, but whatever. And I'm in a meeting. Okay, cool, snap a picture of the meeting. And then he would snap a picture of, like, people's feet at the meeting. not going to work. Sneak a picture of the meeting with maybe your finger in it. You know what I mean? I just needed that. And he did. And there was this one specific time that we were actually together, and we were having a couple drinks. We were sitting at a bar in a restaurant somewhere. And he just told me that he loved me and that it was different. And I was looking to his eyes it was interesting because I was looking into his eyes, and it felt like it was like 7 or 8 hours. And then we would come out of that little trance, and it would only been like 15 minutes. It was insane. But trust took a while. It took a long while. And I just knew. I felt it. I knew in my soul. And now, it's after that, we actually did separate again, and he ran off to be with one of his ex-girlfriends. And that set me back. And that was just in 2012. That set me back. 2012? Yeah, 2012. And that set me back. But it didn't take as long this time. I can't leave out the part that I also started seeing somebody else too. So it wasn't just him. He ran back to one of his exes, and I found somebody else, and we were dating those people, and we inevitably ended up back together. And that day that we went out to lunch, we came back to my house, and things just escalated quickly. When the escalated things were done, he just looked at me and said, I can never be with anybody else ever again. And here we are. That was a long explanation, but I hope that helped. Let's see. How did you navigate other people involved in your connection? Is rough. I had a friends, and a lot of those friends were LR, right? Married. Married and still out there doing things and acting like nobody knows. But I still am connected to some of those people that Lee was seeing. So some of the same people that he was seeing, so was his friend. So it's still happening. There's a couple of them, not just one, but one in particular. But we had to come to there was a lot of outside influence, because we had people telling me that he's a dog, that you don't want to be a part of that. You don't want to, have that kind of person in your life. And then I had my friends and family going, what the hell's going on with you? You're totally consumed. You're out of the loop. And in the grand scheme of things, there really was no loop. I had found my person, right? And the connection was so strong, and the connection is so strong. It's hard to be in our presence when there's somebody who's not understanding of it, right? And we had to come to an agreement that we had to block out all outside influences when it came to our connection, because nobody's in our connection but us. And we had to sometimes even tell people our connection's off limits. Our connection's off limits. And I had his exes, his women coming at me. I had a couple of them. There was a physical altercation. It was a lot. It was a lot. Other people can. You've got to. I look at things as positive and negative. And every time there's a positive or something great, there's going to be a negative that comes in and tries to take that. There's going to be a negative that comes in. There's going to be darkness that tries to cover the light every time. And that's how I kind of looked at that. I didn't, I could have let any of his friends' wives, his friend's girlfriend, say things to me like, what he used to be, or what he is, or how he is, or the type of guy he is. And I'm like, yeah, I could have very well have let their influence been like, yeah, I don't, a couple of them. You sure you want somebody like that in your life? Because, he's something. And And there were a few times when I'm like, there's so many people, not just one, there were so many people coming to me with that type of energy and those type of words that it very well could have sent me in the other direction. But there was something in my soul saying, there is something here, and this guy is part of you. And I really had to cut that chatter off. Did you ever think, why do I love you when you've given me every reason not to? Multiple times, hundreds of thousands of times, I could say in the beginning. I worked through most of that. Had to do with how I was feeling about myself, honestly. That's why do I love you when you've given me every reason not to, is something that we normally say to other people when that's what's going on inside ourselves. And that's exactly what was happening with me. It was going on inside of me. So I couldn't even let him love me or be near me. Hi, Alice. Mine says that too, but I'm conflicted. What are you conflicted with? Hey, Defined. I got to know who that is, because I'm lost on that. I'm lost on screen names. How were you able to hold space for him, so to speak, while you felt a great love for him? How were you able to hold space for him, so to speak, while you felt a great love for him? Look, there was those 2 years that he left, and I needed him to be gone, and he needed to be gone. Hi, Corey. I kind of thought it was you. So, because of the little wrench next to your name. What was the question? And during that time, and I'm not even going to lie to you and say that I didn't go do some snooping. I didn't check on social media. I did call. I did check on social media. I did do that kind of stuff for about the first 3 or 4, maybe even close to 6 months. I kind of every now and then tried to figure out what he was doing and who he was doing it with, or whatever. There was a time when I knew that if we did get together, I wasn't ready, and I needed to hold space for myself to be able to go through some healing on some things. And that's when I was able to hold space for him. But I've held space for him also while we've been together. And it's hard because I'm a fixer and I want to be involved, and I want to go in and I want to make the bow prettier, or I want to organize. And when he's going through something, and my head is telling me everything, like, it's you, he doesn't want to be with you, he's got somebody else, or he wants to be with somebody else. I mean, those kind of thoughts are toxic when it comes to holding space, because that's not what it's about. And I'm telling you, when you are giving someone that you're connected to space, the best thing that you can do is one, go deeper in you and dig up some things that you may need to look at. I did that. And find some hobbies, find some things to do to keep your mind off of what I want to call the waiting game. Because if you try to get involved, if they're over here doing work and you try to get involved in that, it's really not organic, right? There were so many times that I called Lee, I begged Lee, when we were separated, what is this? Let's do something. And he was so adamant about not, because I had hurt him so bad. So he had to hold space for me to get my shit together too. And it definitely was both ways, but I have held space in different ways. And when I find myself in the waiting game, that's when I know that I am lacking something that needs to be taught. I need to download something. And let me see. I have to look at this because I can't see. So let's see what you guys are saying here. Um, how do you deal with syncs and feel their energy while in separation? Um, wow, that was difficult, because especially when I felt him with other women, physically on top of me, physically touching me, and I knew it wasn't me, and it just gave me the ickies. And instead of laying there and crying, I just got up and removed myself from the whole situation, and created chatter, usually through music, where I could turn on some music and just sing the lyrics and not be involved in that synchronicity. But let me tell you, when we go into separation, when we're not in separation, they're still there, and I take pictures all the time. I just took some last week. But when we are separated, it was everything. And I know you've seen a couple of the videos, but it was Lee cleaners, Lee nails, Lee everything. Lee's famous chicken recipe, we have that here. Lee's automotive supply, right? Twin fountains, twin flame this, twin flame that, Lee this, Lee that, everywhere. And it would throw me into tears. Like, oh, yeah, cleaners. Then I figured out that, especially when we were in separation, when I saw those things, now, in the last separation we had, I realized those are reminders to me. Hey, you're connected to him. It's going to work out. It's going to be fine. It's going to, one way or another, it's going to be okay, right? There's a connection. It's not just a breakup or a separation. There's a connection. And somehow, in some way, that connection will find each other. And sometimes it may not be physical. Sometimes you just are connected to someone, and you can be with somebody else, and they can be with somebody else, but you hold that connection, and you can feel that connection. And when you feel that, even now, if you're in separation, just look at it as a positive thing. Like, oh yeah, the universe is reminding me that there he is, or there she is. It's right there. And the universe is showing you, and you don't have to do anything. You just allow the universe to show you, allow the universe to remind you, and allow the universe to put your soul at ease. That's what it's trying to do. He told me I should not care about him so much. He says, not now, maybe later. Okay. Oh, Teresa. Okay. Ooh, I wish I knew the circumstances of that. Maybe you can write me a little email and tell me the circumstances of that. Because it sounds like he's asking for time, but, not now. So is he working on something? There's some things that's going on with him that he has to work on within himself. He's telling you he's not ready, and it has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Please understand that it doesn't have anything to do with you. He's trying to figure that out on his own. And once he's free of whatever he needs to be free from, then he'll see you in a different light, and he'll be able to feel that connection. And I don't know the whole backstory to that, so I hope, you know what I mean, I hope that was, I don't know, that was a little bit of help. I don't know. How can you tell who's the DM and then the DF so that you know which energy needs to be balanced? Girl. I carry predominantly masculine energy. And I'm going to be honest and say Lee's a pretty good balance of masculine and feminine energy just in himself. I'm predominantly masculine energy. So I have to still learn to beef my feminine energy up a little bit, and really learn how to walk and be in that feminine energy. I have just a very strong masculine personality. I'm a leader. I'm a speaker. I'm outspoken. I'm sociable. And, if somebody gives me a task, I'll just take it by the horns and just go with it. I'm a firm believer that we are what we are, right? We are what we think we are. And if we think we're negative things, we're going to be those negative things. If we think they're positive things, I'm a believer in heaven and hell. And I know that there's a devil in here, right? And that devil keeps me, you know, and I want to be, not, and I find when I'm feeling that, to try to soften it up a little bit, and touch and feel instead of waiting to be touched and feel. It's an interesting scenario, because it's a daily struggle, even here, even with me, with my Lee's amazing at balancing his feminine and masculine energy. I'm not. So that puts the balance off in the union. And I have to realize that there's a lot of times when he really is trying to be in his masculine energy and take a matter, by the horns and be the man and handle it. And I'm stepping in. It just happened. 5 minutes before we got on camera. I have a load of laundry in the washer, and there were some rugs in there, and there were some shirts of mine in there. I don't dry my shirts. I hang them up. Because my weight fluctuates so much, and sometimes they're too small and sometimes they're too big. I just let them be. So I hang them, and then there was a couple rugs in there, and that I had got from the kitchen because I was mopping. So my son needed to throw a load of laundry, and he's 14. So instead of allowing him to do that, then I got freaked out because he needed to do his laundry. So I was telling Lee, okay, there's clothes in there that need hung, and then there's rugs, and he's like, okay, and I'm going, just wait and I'll get it. And I stopped, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm trying to control the situation here, and they're both wanting to help, and they're both wanting to contribute to this. And why am I stepping in and being a man and handling it all? Allow them to do this. So Lee's like, I got this. I'll hang your shirts, and I'll put the rugs over the banister, or whatever they do to dry. So I have to step back and bring up, I want to use the word submissive, but not in that submissive way that you're thinking, but being more submissive in my feminine energy, like succumbing to it a little bit more instead of fighting it, because I fight it a lot. It comes a lot from being sexually abused as a child, right? You don't want to, you're really bound down, and what happens when you're abused sexually by someone that you trust. You have a problem with trust, but there's also so many walls built up, it turns you into a bulldog, so nobody else touches you, so nobody else hurts you. So now you're running around like this all the time. And it's very interesting that this question came up, because since my transplant, I've really been struggling with my feminine energy a lot. It was a battle, y'all. It was a war, and I was fighting. I was on the front line of this war, and I handled it, and in my masculine and feminine energy. But I aim to be more in my more feminine energy. And this past summer, I made a big change. Man, y'all would never saw me, number one, wearing pink, ever. Number two, I would fight somebody if they had me put on a dress. Fight them, right? I'm sitting here, and I'm going to show you. Pink pants. I have pink pants on. And I have a closet full of dresses. Some of them pink. I really went out on all the dresses this summer and really connected with my feminine energy. And I loved it. And I cannot wait for dress season to come back. And finding that balance in me. When I'm balanced and he's balanced, we're balanced. But there's always some type of, always, right? And I find that it's usually me. Every now and then it's him, and he'll pick up on that. We both pick up on that. I hope that helped. I'm a female, but I'm the only one who has my life together. He's the male who doesn't have his life together. Feels like He doesn't deserve me in the spiritual one. I'm the spiritual one. Or is he the spiritual one or you? But, and also logical, but he doesn't, and doesn't act on emotion. But he's the male who doesn't have his life together. Okay. He doesn't deserve me. He is the spiritual one. Is that right? Is that right? We both are kind of like that. I think. I think we both felt like that. Neither one of us felt we deserved each other or I don't. Every now and then it still happens. It still pops in, and it's odd. But I'm the female, but I'm the one who has one. You know, I have to revert back to when we were first together, and you know, Lee had his life together. He lived with his brother. He lived in, I mean, not all of his life, let's be honest. But, you know, he was stable and out doing what he was doing. But I had 3 kids at the time, and 2 of them were teenagers, and they fought a lot, and it was chaos, 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 always chaos. So I also had a 9-year-old or 6-year-old. She was 6. And all kinds of fighting, bickering, arguing, periods, freaking boys, hot irons, curling irons, makeup, panties, clothes, friends, all that comes with things, that comes with teenage girls. And it was chaos over here, and it was peaceful over there. So peaceful and quiet, you know? Night, Teresa. Thanks for coming. And so there's something that this connection taught me, and it is there's something that you have to learn from each other. There's something there, right? That'll balance that out. So when you two come into union, I don't know if you're in union or not, but it'll come together, and you will. I look at Lee Lau and I'm like, my God, he is so together, and he helps and guides, and he learns, and he's teachable. He's not the type of guy who knows everything, except when he thinks he knows it, he goes all the way in. Lee acts more on emotion than I do, except for some emotion. There's a lot of hurt, and when I start feeling that hurt, there's a part of me that can't turn it off. It's different. It's different. Hi, Ruda. Thank you for this, Sherry. Hoping it becomes a regular thing. I'm doing this every Monday night at 7 o'clock until you guys are tired. Conflicted about him actually wanting only me while trying to get everyone else's attention. We've also separated at this point, so we have limited communication. Hey, Vina. If he's telling you he only wants to be with you, and he's looking at you, and you're feeling that, and you know that what he's saying is real, right? If that makes sense at all, I don't know. The dogs just came in. When Lee and I separated, and he ran back to the same person he runs back to, he would run back to a lot back then. I started to question what it is about me that he doesn't resonate with, or he doesn't like. And it took me a long time to realize that it wasn't me at all. He was conflicted in himself, and I was just a casualty of that. And I knew what he wanted. I felt it. I honestly didn't feel like he could ever get there. Don't give up on him. Um, give him this space. And it sounds cliche and it sounds horrible, but when he realizes the only attention that he wants is attention from you, that's where the magic is. That's where the connection is. That's where the answers are. And nobody else will be able to be in the picture. It's figuring that out. Let's see. I came in with what I was asking the universe for the past few days, dying to know what that is. If you find yourself waiting, what if you find yourself waiting to just move on? That's something that, man, I deal with a lot talking to people. If you find yourself in a holding pattern where you're waiting to move on, that's what there's something for you waiting. Could be someone, right? Remember, right? This is going to tell you that don't go there, come back here, right? If your soul is telling you to move on, to go, to walk away from this toxicity, my suggestion is just stop waiting and go. Go do it. Let it go. The one you're connected to is going to find you one way or another. Maybe not be on our time, maybe not be on your time. But if you're stuck in the cesspool of someone else, right, that's toxic, and whether they're your twin or not, honestly, that's the truth, whether they're your twin or not, if it's toxic and it is not serving you, and you feel the need to move on, first, don't go from Bob to Tom, right? Let's not move from one to another so quickly. Let's move on from that person and move on with what's going on here. What's going on here and what's going on here and what needs to be shut off and what needs to be turned down, and you go. It's just like starting a new job. You just go to work. Go in and find out what it is in you that you need, that you want. Do it for yourself first, and that other person will find you. Let's see. How can I heal my anxious attachment towards my twin flame? How can I heal my anxious attachment? You say anxious, so it's part of the equation. Is it a feeling like anxious attachment sounds like, to me, obsession. Is that how it feels? And obsession's mind noise, right? That's something to leave behind. You don't, there's no connection in obsession. Anxious attachment. What's making you anxious? I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Courting versus connection. Oh, well, we're getting into some things that personally I don't necessarily believe in. The whole cord cutting thing, the whole snipping of things. You're connected, you're connected, you're going to be connected. You can't cut a cord. It's the same analogy Lee uses, a mother and a child. And when that baby's born, the cord that connects the mother to the child is cut, and they're two separate people, but they're still a mother and a child. They're still connected. They're always going to be connected. The connection doesn't leave. So I personally don't believe in the courting thing. That's probably best asked to somebody who is schooled in that type of thing. I prefer not to be schooled in that type of thing because I don't believe in it. So and I honor your belief system, and I don't want to step on it. So I felt like I was the only one to feel that connection. You are not. You are not. Both have trust issues. Oh, hi, Miss Grace. He's married. I'm finally in a place where I don't want to be around him while he's unavailable. He keeps sending me messages, although I'm not responsive. What will it take for him to stop? Well, I'm finally in a place where I don't want to be around him, and he's unavailable. Wow, he's unavailable. That's first of all, I commend you for that. Even if you are twins, if he's with somebody else, you got to leave that alone. That's none of your business. So I'm glad that you've seen that. Although he keeps sending you messages, just continue to not respond. Continue to not respond. You don't want to be in that mess if you do. I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna. If he persists, if he keeps persisting, and he will not leave you alone, and you can be super friendly, and if it persists for a longer period of time, I would just try not responding for a long period of time. Or put him on block if it's an email. I don't believe in the whole Facebook blocking, phone blocking and stuff. I don't believe in all that. But if you have to do that, maybe you have to. And if you see him out, or if you have to send him a message, then maybe you might want to say something like, if you don't stop messaging me, I'm going to have a conversation with your wife. That should stop it. Dresses are great for summer. Let's see. But I can't help to wonder if he was ever real with me about anything. Looking back, I can see it so many. I do know that he had feelings for you, Mama T. I do know that he was real with you. He had other demons, and you were just a casualty, and that sucks, and that just sucks. I can't believe thank you so much. I'm looking down because I have to read this from. I don't know if I can. Oh no! If I touch a button, I don't want to. Oh, I don't know. There we go. Oh, is it Earth Day? I didn't know that. Happy Earth Day. I did not know that. I'm homeless and so am stuck with him for now, but it does feel too toxic. Are you guys together? Are you guys together, going through that journey together, or are you going through that journey alone? And I have a couple questions on that. So many, yeah. let's see. It's what Glamosaurus said. It's taxing, y'all. It's it's um it's rough. This isn't a kiddie park ride. It's not. And it's I don't know what I've done here to his whole setup, but I'm gonna get in trouble. um it's not for everybody. Um the the things that we went through, we shouldn't be sitting here. We shouldn't be together. Um and it doesn't stop. I mean, things still happen. People still try to infiltrate our union, and most of the time it's strangers. A lot of the times, you guys wouldn't believe the emails that I get personally. I'm sorry to inform you that I've been talking to Spirit, and Lee is my twin flame, and I just felt like you needed to know, and him and I are so connected, and I've been watching your videos, and he says the things that I think, and all that goes on a lot. That happens a lot, and it's taxing. It is, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm real sympathetic and empathetic to people and to their feelings, but there's a lot of hills and there's a lot of mountains. I usually describe it as battles and wars. There's many battles that lead up to a war, and then there's many battles and another war, and many battles, another war, and it doesn't stop. It keeps going, but you learn how to navigate differently. You learn how to go through things differently. You learn how to talk to one another. You learn how to understand each other's language, and you learn how to, like, Lee and I are together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's nice sometimes when he goes to the store, and I agree, he's pretty sexy. I agree, he's sexy. And I actually take a lot of those as a compliment, like, oh, he is pretty damn cute. and he's super smart, and he's intelligent, and he's a very spiritual dude, and I appreciate him. I do. Let's see. Got it. Earth Day. New moons in Pisces today. Oh, I see 333 a lot this week. I know you mentioned seeing that before. What did those numbers mean to you in your journey? When I saw numbers, still see numbers. Sometimes we see a lot of it. Our numbers have changed. Where obviously we used to see like 11s a lot. 222, 333, those types of things. And it depends on the number, but for me personally, and I am going to be totally honest with you, and know that, and you can do the same thing, which is kind of cool, right? I allowed Spirit to show me, okay, when I see a series of letters, or numbers, I'm gonna need to know what they were. Sometimes, I just don't know. But when I know when I see like 555, that for some reason the fives do it for me, that there's something coming financially. If I see ones, that's something coming spiritually. If I see twos, it's something coming connection-wise. And if I see sevens, that's my personal number. That's when I know that I've got something that's heading to me, and it could be just about anything. I just receive it, right? I just know it's coming, and then I receive it. So I've kind of made a chart of what has happened when I see those numbers. I kind of wait and see, and then I've just kind of throughout the years attributed, that's when, or that's when. And that's a lot of times. I know that Lee's running a root camp special with sevens, and I think it's 777, 77 even, lots of sevens. That's my personal life number. I don't even think it's my life number, but that's been just my lucky number since I was a child. So, you know, it's a resonating thing. Whatever you, for some reason, when the fives come, I know that, and it could be $1.92. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have anything to do with fives, but I just know that there's something financial on the horizon when there's fives. And, you know, pay attention to what's happening after you see those numbers. Because a lot of times I'll see a series of numbers. Right now we're seeing like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3. Those series of numbers. And I haven't really quite attributed to what those are yet, but I know it's a Lee and I thing. That it's a combined thing because we're both seeing them. So I don't know. I'll figure it out. But sort of pay attention to when you see those numbers, what's coming, what happens. So you know when you see those numbers again, okay, let's wait and see and let spirit show you. Let me see. When we're together, we literally repulse each other, so it's tough. You know, yeah, I'm gonna need to hear about that. I'm gonna need to know why that is, and are you connected? Just answer that real quick. Are you connected, like spiritually connected? Yeah, I need to know that. Huh. Chelsea, I need to know that. Like, are you not physically attracted to one another? I'm really curious about that question. Hi, Summer. I believe I'm stuck in a conflict with the surrender stage of my connect with my twin. How can I surrender? With the surrender stage. Well, I hope you're trying to surrender to the person. It's surrender to the person, not the connection, because you can't surrender to the connection. So instead of putting in a big package, surrender to the human being. I found that it was much easier that way if I just surrendered to the human being and walked away with my connection to the human being, but really not to the human being. It was really to the soul of that human being, and that can go with me everywhere. What was your aha moment when you knew he was the one? When we slept together for the first time and I couldn't get rid of him. He couldn't get out of that house fast enough. I was dressed and ready for him to be out of the house. Out. He was feeling the same way. He got dressed. He got out. I peeked through the blinds, and I couldn't wait for him to pull out of the driveway. I don't know what he was doing, getting a piece of gum. I don't know what he was doing, but it took him forever to pull out of the driveway. When he pulled out of the driveway, I felt relief. And then it hit me. Like, that's my big love. And I just made him leave. And at that point in time, I didn't know he felt freaked out too and left. But that's the point when I knew that he was the one. 333 for me meant I was on the wrong path. I kept seeing it when I was doing something against my intuition. I mainly see his birthday numbers now. Yeah. So it can just mean anything. It's just universe giving you like a sign or some type of push, I believe, right? Have you experienced 7 or 9 year cycles in your connection with Lee? I'm in my 9th year knowing my twin. Feels like I'm leaving him behind at the moment. Look, when we were, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. When we hit our 7-year mark of relationship, not union, relationship. Yeah, that was one of the years we separated. We blew up. And 9 years in, same thing. 9 years in, same thing. Yeah. However, once we came into union, right, once we figured it out, in the marriage realm, after we were married 7 years, um, I waited for that 7 year itch and it never came. However, I think he did go through some type of midlife crisis or something. He got a car and named her Betty. Just sits in the driveway or in the garage, just sits in there. I don't know why, but it is time for me to go. I still have this much to drink. And the oddest thing just came across, and it says rooster with violent past kills man. What's happening? Oh, hang on. Let me see what this is. Josie, hi. How are you? Do you still do me? I do. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that. Yeah, message me. I still do medium readings. Yes, I do. I only do them, really, I don't advertise them much. I just do them kind of upon request. And I miss you, Josie. Yeah, send me a message and we'll get that scheduled. And anybody else who might want a medium reading. And I think at some of these series, I might bring my cards too. That'll be fun. But I have to prepare for this colonoscopy. And it's not necessarily something I want to do online. Guys, we went over 50 people. That's weird to me. But thank you guys for watching. It's freaking awesome. And I'm glad you guys, I hope that I would, that I'm giving you some answers. I don't know. The last week, of course we always judge ourselves. Last week I was like, I didn't say anything cool. The drink is, it's the worst. And I'm pouring it in a cup to try to make it look cool, but I should really just drink it out of the bucket. But they're doing the whole upper endoscopy and lower endoscopy at the same time. So I'm gonna go through it tomorrow. Terry, yes, I do. And, I do. And a lot of times pets come to me. It's a whole odd story, but when I'm doing somebody's reading, if there was a special pet, they usually always will come forward. That spirit always comes forward. I love that. I'm a pet person, man. I'm a dog person. I don't care for cats much, but I love them if they're right on me. And but thank you for coming, everybody. I'm super excited that you're all here and interested in anything that I have to say. And what does being connected to yourself like? I'll answer that before I go. And it's never perfected, you know? It really isn't. But there's a freedom there. And Lee talks about masks all the time. And obviously when we walk into certain places, we put a mask on. And I just have found that being free and being authentic and being who I am, just being me, makes me feel more connected to myself. I want to have a steak. I want to have a piece of cake. Or I want to enjoy some marijuana. Or I can't drink. Or I want to watch a stupid TV show. Or I want to go take a walk. Or I want to meditate. Or I want to, whatever it is, what I'm desiring in my soul is what I go for. And not allowing other people's judgments of me to deter that in any way, shape, or form. It happened a while back on a live video Lee and I did, and there was a comment, and it just struck me, and I felt judged for not being myself, or for being myself. I think I was smoking a joint or something during the live, in my pajamas or something, in my own home. But, you know, I think the comment was, it looked bad. And I thought, well, it looked bad to you. It didn't look bad to me. It looked great to me. it's free. Being connected to myself feels free. And I lose that sometimes, and I grab it back. And sometimes I let this run off with a story, and then I have to grab it back. And I don't think being connected to yourself is something that is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'd like it to be. I don't believe that's unattainable. It very well could be. I just try to be who I am all the time. And I think it can be offensive to some people, but it's so free to me. It's so free. Just being able to be who I am, say what I want to say, act how I want to act. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a connection to myself that I hadn't ever had. And I was so controlled for so long and so conditioned for so long that I don't want to be conditioned anymore, and I don't want to be controlled, and I just live free, and it's beautiful. And when I start to feel sad, I got to go in and find out why I'm feeling sad. It's, you know what I mean? It's, oh, that's why I'm feeling sad. Well, it's okay to feel sad about that because that was sad. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just free. I can pull things out, look at them, and feel that emotion that I felt around that circumstance, and then put it back in the drawer. But every now and then, I'll clean out the drawer. But there's never anything in there that was so traumatizing that I have to throw it out forever because there's been a lot of trauma in my life. So I have a lot of drawers in my dresser, and I open them a lot, and I let them get air, and I do what I call burping. I burp those jars, right? Just let them breathe a little bit. Just let those drawers breathe. My sexual abuse, physical abuse I endured in my first marriage, bearing a son, liver transplant. There's so many different things that I can pull up and be like, God, I faced death. It was right here. Death. Right here. And I'm like, yeah, not today. Right? But every now and then I can pull that up and look at it and be like, fuck, I was scared, y'all. I was scared. This is the fear. It's right here. I was afraid to die. I was scared. And I'm feeling that. You can feel that. You can be in those emotions and feel those things. And then that's when you know you're healing from them because you can look at them, right? I can stay in that. I can stay in that pain and that emotion, and that's what helps me grow. I love it. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. How do you explain when you're feeling the other feelings you can't explain to yourself? I'm gonna, how do you explain your feeling to other people's? Oh man, it's hard. It's hard. And most of the time I'm just real empathetic, and I'll if I'm allowed to touch that person, get permission to touch that person pretty much on the shoulder. And I usually won't explain how they're feeling. I'll explain how I'm feeling, and it's usually what they're feeling. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, to try to explain it to them, I just didn't have the words. I just don't have the words sometimes. When you're feeling other people's feelings, yeah, I'll usually, my daughter today, I was with her and I felt her being nauseous. I felt her. She was just going through something. I felt it, and I just put my hand on her shoulder and just said, I feel nauseous and I feel irritable. And she just shook her head and she was like, yeah. And then I guess just acknowledging it to her was enough. I hope. I don't know. But I do have to go. I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, and still more. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back next week. Love you guys. I got to figure out how to get off of here.